Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsche and must make amends. I've torn all my lifetime, no help from my friends. So Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? I'm in the band. Hello and welcome to another cooking show with the Tater Cowgirls. And yes, we cook today. Have a few minutes. I have to talk to you and then give you some news, and then we cook a big meal and you will like it. The news, I went to the audition with David Ortega, our musical lead and director and co-pastor at the Foothills Church. 2 days before I had the audition, he sent me a long list of worship songs and he said, choose 3 you are comfortable with rehearsing with me. The Janis Joplin song was not one of them, so it was just for your own amusement. So I checked, and of course I didn't know any of the songs. Thank God they have a YouTube channel, Foothill. And he put the dates on the list where he performed the song, so I could search it on the YouTube channel. Then I searched the lyrics on Google and put my headphones on, tuned in, listened to what they sang on the YouTube channel and then sang with it. And then I listened to my voice without the music, and I got so discouraged because on the phone you sound really bad. Everybody sounds bad on the phone, so I was tempted to call him and said, I don't think I can do that. But I really like singing. I like singing worship for the Lord. And I'm baptized. So what can go wrong, Lord? The Lord will help me, I thought. So I'm going to the audition. Trembling, of course. He's really nice, thank God. So he really took my nervousness a little bit away. And then I started to sing the first song. This was my baptism song. So I thought that should be good luck. If I nail that, the other 2 ones will go better. So I sang, your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of a symphony in my ears. Is like holy water on my skin. So I'm a little hoarse today because of all the practicing, but that's what it was, and I nailed it then really good. I had my honey tea, before that, so that my voice was clear. Today I'm a little anyway. But that worked, so he took me. So in September I will be performing with the worship team, and until then I'm rehearsing songs. I looked up all the lyrics. So far I have rehearsed 25 are in my repertoire. There are at least 100 he gave me, but 25 are already down, so I'm trying, until September that I get as many in as possible. He will email me the songs probably on Tuesday, which we sing Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He will give me the songs, and then I can rehearse at home and then go there an hour earlier before worship, before the church starts, and then go through all the electrical stuff. I get an earpiece, I never did that before. And he will explain all that, so we will see how it works. Anyway, now we go to the cooking part of our day today. My garden is exploding. Beets are not ready yet, so no beets today, but I have a lot of tomatoes, and I want to make a fresh tomato sauce today with you. Not canning. I make it. It's just enough tomatoes to make a sauce. The kids want to have spaghettis. I make something else, which I show you today as well. I will show you how I make a loaded polenta. And that will go very well with the tomato sauce. So let me get you down so that you see what I'm doing. So I have the tomatoes washed, and what I have to do is I have to take all that stuff off here and cut them in half. Or every single tomato needs to be cut in half. I do that not on a cutting board, I do that in a plate, because this way you have all the juices in there which go in the pot and you won't lose them. These are from my garden, 4th of July cherry tomatoes. So these are not the ones I would use to make a sauce usually. I usually use canned tomatoes, or what I really like is Pommi, if you know that, my Marinara sauce. Pommi is the name. It's fat-free. I really like that to make spaghetti sauce or anything. One thing you should remember is if you are canning the tomatoes, that's my tip. That's what I do. I only spice the basics: salt, a little bit, pepper, a little bit of basil. You can do. You don't have to, and 5 cloves of garlic. Today we do a little bit more. The reason why I don't spice it more when I can it is this way you are more flexible. You can use the canned sauce then for marinara sauce, where you put more basil in, or you use it Mexican style, where you put maybe cilantro in or lime juice, and what else? Or a French ratatouille, you know, with eggplants, and that would be a more earthy spice like the herbs de Provence. So there are different ways to. My voice is really crunchy today. So there are different ways to spice the tomatoes. So keep that in mind when you can it. Don't go a certain way and then you are not flexible afterwards to do the one you want to do for your specific meal. Anyway, I'm gonna cut my tomatoes. I won't film that because it's just boring for you. I will add the juice of 1 lemon from my garden. I will add 1 chopped onion. I will prepare, okay? I will chop 1 onion, and I have salt and pepper, 5 cloves of garlic, and a 1/4 cup chopped basil. This is the stuff I need for my sauce right now. And I will take you over to the oven once I have chopped the tomatoes here in my plate. And then we get going, okay? See you later. So I'm sitting here in the garden next to my tomato plants to show you the almost 7 pounds we use today on the cooking channel is the harvest of about 3 days. So you see how many tomatoes are still hanging there in different ripening stages. Here, this one will be soon ripe, probably tomorrow. But we have a lot of green ones. I think I took all the ripe ones away. Here's one that's gonna be ripe soon. And over here is the ginormous zucchini plant. I just want to give you a look. This is where all the zucchinis come from I use right now. So yeah, I just wanted to show you. Usually I use canned tomatoes for tomato sauce, but right now the tomatoes in the garden, they have a very specific flavor. The 4th of July, and they make a really good fresh tomato sauce, and together with the polenta. And stay tuned, because now we are getting to the part of the cooking. Alrighty then, I took you over to the other side of my kitchen here, to the oven, because I want you to see all the action at the oven now. Let me put you down. Here's my skillet, or you know, I use it because it's a nice pot to use. So I have almost 7 pounds cut tomatoes. Get down here a little bit more so you see everything. Yeah. In 2 plates here. I turn on the oven and I pour the tomatoes in my little pot. And this is, see, put all this juice in it. I don't want to lose the juice, that's why I cut it in plates and not on the cutting board. So you have everything in. We do not spice except of the juice of 1 lemon. I showed you the lemon before. We do that. And the lemon gives acidity, it just enhances the acidity a little bit. So I like that in combination with the tomatoes. And we put a teaspoon salt in it. Okay. I also kept a few little for garnish for my polenta, so you might want to do that. The little tomatoes I just cut in half and kept as garnish. So I put them over here to the polenta stuff, that I don't use it. And all the other spices we do later. The reason for that, let me just go here that you see me. The reason for that is once that those tomatoes have simmered about 15 minutes, I would say. Let's put a lid on. Let's put a lid on them. Show you again. So this is the tomatoes. I put them on. I leave them a little bit on high, but I will pretty soon put them on medium height that they don't burn. And after 15 minutes, they should be good. But we will strain them through that little gadget, because this way we get the skin away. And that's the reason why I don't do the other spices right now. We put the other stuff in. We will make a fresh marinara sauce with basil, a simple marinara sauce. And but I want to put the onions and the spices in once I got rid of the skin, so that not all the onions are lost in that gadget here. You know, this is, you have to press it through. I'm not too hung up on having everything out, but a little bit. Usually when I do really heavy pasta sauces for like a spaghetti bolognese, I use canned you know, tomato paste, and usually this is my go-to marinara sauce from Pommi. It has almost no fat, you know. I like the flavor of it. Today we only make a very light, fresh from the garden tomato sauce for my loaded polenta. And the kids want spaghetti after school. Eddie brings 2 of her friends, so that's a cheap meal. Because I don't always schedule that many eaters for my dinners, but spaghetti is a meal for that. So we will do that. And I personally love the 4th of July tomatoes I have in the garden. They have when they are ripe, they have a really, really good flavor. And if you put a little bit lemon juice in it, it enhances that flavor. It just makes it awesome. As I said, when this is not enough, the 7 pounds will just be enough for today's tomato sauce. If you have more, you want to can tomatoes, just do a basic tomato sauce, and then tailor the spices to the dish you want to make after you open the can and use it for a dish. So that's my suggestion, and I said it before. Yeah, basic marinara is basil, garlic, salt, pepper, maybe a little pepperoncino, red pepper, but that's about it. For a bolognese I would add Italian spices. For a ratatouille I would add herbe de Provence, or some marjoram, some earthy spices. What else? Oh, there are many stuff. For our polenta, the marinara is perfect. Okay, so we let that cook. Simmer, not cook. Simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. You have to stir it, so don't walk away and leave it alone. You have to stir it. Then when it's all cooked down, we will come back and then we get to do the other stuff. Now that our tomatoes have been simmering for 15 minutes, I will pass them to this little gadget to get rid of skin, some bigger skin. I used the wand. After 15 minutes I went in with the wand and pureed them to tomatoes because I don't want to lose all the goodness of little tomato pieces. I actually don't care if there are pieces in there. I just had one. So all I want to do is making sure the big skin pieces are out. So put your apron on, because tomato stuff is usually splattery business. So we put the tomato sauce in here. Pass it through, whatever has to be passed through. I think it's pretty good actually. We are doing pretty well. There's not much to pass. The puree wand is really doing a good job here. I'm almost half through here. It's a decent amount of tomato sauce, I have to say. I'm happy about it. Takes a while, so let me pass this through, and I don't have to bore you watching that. When I'm done, we continue. So there wasn't too much skin that didn't go through. I'm happy about that too. I want to keep all the nutrients, you know, as much as possible. So our skillet is empty. You don't have to clean it. Let's leave the little stuff you have in there. Here is our sauce. And the longer you simmer that thing, the thicker it gets, but we don't need that. So we go on medium height, or let's do high, and throw the chopped onion in. The 5 garlic cloves squished. The basil. Maybe we keep a little basil back for garnish, like so, or for later. I had a 1/4 cup basil, just in case you need to know. Then we put a little bit pepper in it, maybe 1/4 teaspoon. We wait with the salt because I think we don't need salt actually. We put 1/2 tea pepperoncino in, red pepper. That's about it. That's our. And don't let the garlic burn. Just water saute. You know, not whole plant-based. You would put a little bit of olive oil in here, but we are whole plant-based, so we won't do that. So a little bit of sauce in there. Not like that. Don't put water in there. You don't want to make the sauce thinner, you know, the taste thinner. So now let those onions soften. You don't have to brown them, just soften, glaze them. Here, you know. That's about everything you need for this sauce. It's not an hard sauce, a marinara sauce. And the flavor of that is just awesome. You can thicken it later if you want to with tomato paste. I might do that, we will see. Or the longer you simmer them now, the thicker the sauce gets, you know. It's one of the things to remember. You do spaghetti spices in there, you know, these little packets. I usually don't do that. Okay, that's about enough for the onions. And we put our sauce carefully back. Don't splatter yourself, it's very hot. And we let it simmer, I would say, for another 10 minutes on medium to low. Let's just come to a boil again. Yeah, that works. We put our... No, we let it simmer without lid to reduce it a little bit, so that we have it a little thicker. It's almost how I want it actually, so I don't need to have a lot of reduction. Let's put the timer on 10 minutes and then we go from there. Our sauce has reduced. If you can see them, I don't know if you can see it, how much it is. It's about an inch lower, so it has reduced quite a bit. Has a nice consistency. We put in, I'll show you what it is. I had just enough left in an old tomato paste tube. I used that Cento tomato paste. So it's that. And I use a 1/4 cup to give it a little bit more thickness and body. If you don't want to use it, that's fine with you. I think it needs a little bit. Okay. And a tablespoon either cornstarch or potato starch, mixed with a little bit of water, not much water, just a little bit. I use potato starch, but that's up to you, how it works. Okay, and put that on medium so that it all combines, and we put that in to make it nice and saucy. Let that come to a boil to thicken it up. And our tomato sauce is ready. In the meantime, we put 3 cups of water in that pot. And let it come to a boil. That's for our polenta. Okay. Yeah, our tomato sauce is perfect. So we just put it aside. You don't have to keep it warm. We can heat it up later. We don't want to destroy nutrients, you know. Every heating is taking away from the nutrients. So we want to be really cautious and keep as much as we can in there. It's an awesome flavor. I tell you, you can smell it. It's, oh my God, it's so good. I could eat it just like that with some piece of bread. Don't need anything else. It doesn't have to get thicker. It's just fine. Yeah. I showed you before what I do to make sure I have enough thickness. I put my finger on and if you see this, the thing, it's enough. It's good. It's good thickness. If you see the trace where I went with the finger, and it's the case here. So we put it aside. Let's put it here. Let's put that pot over and heat it up here. And then we keep here so you see better. So we will get this water to a boil. Let's take that away, and then I have more for our polenta, we need two things. First of all, we make the polenta. We need a cup of polenta. Let me try that out. This is where the water was in. Don't want to use too many dishes and measuring cups. So we need a cup of polenta. And yes, you could use cornmeal. It might be less gritty. I like the polenta, so I use polenta. About a cup. Yeah, it's enough. So you can prepare that. We will stir it in here. I have a quarter teaspoon salt, teaspoon onion powder, a clove of garlic, and about a quarter cup of Italian spices here. This goes for later. We don't need that right now. We will have to chop the onion, and that will go later for garnish. And we need that pretty soon, so I put that on here. Okay, this goes away. It's almost there. So what we do is we put a teaspoon of better than bouillon roasted garlic base in the hot water. Let it dissolve. Okay, let's try the broth. You can use any vegetable broth, but that's what I use. Yeah, that's about right. Maybe a little bit more. So a quarter teaspoon more. I like it flavorful. Okay, take that away. Let that come to a boil. That's important. This stuff you see here, that's our loaded stuff, which we have to fry. So I will show you that once we have the polenta done. Yeah, it's boiling. So we put in the Italian spices, the garlic, more garlic, and the salt and the garlic, the onion powder. Okay, go. We need a good whisk. Then we use the polenta and we do it very carefully. So we put that on medium. It's boiling now. We put it on medium. And we put it very slowly. You don't want to get clumps in there. So do it very slowly. Do you see? Maybe I should do it with the other hand, then you see it better, huh? So very slowly we put that in, whisk that in. Okay, and you start whisking until it starts becoming a soft polenta. Few minutes, it doesn't take long. see, you know, the grittiness gets softer. You will see when it becomes splattery. It's about right. Turn it down a little on medium. I don't want to get splattered. That's where my apron is for. And let that really get soft. Takes a few minutes. It shouldn't look watery once you're done. So you don't need milk, you don't need butter, what they usually put in. All you need is a little bit of vegan broth to make polenta in your spices. And low. Don't want it splattery. Let me try. They're getting there. A little bit more. You have to soften it out, you know, you don't want it all gritty. Polenta was one of my favorite dishes at home. As you know, we lived 2 hours from the Italian border, and polenta is done in South Tyrol, the German-speaking part of Italy, at the, you know, at the Brenner Autobahn, the Dolomite Mountains. And I lived in the German part of the Alps, I said 2 minutes away from the Italian border. Right across from Tyrol, you know, Austria, and we ate a lot of polenta. It's a little bit different than grits. It's has similarity with grits, but it's a little bit different. So let me take that over here. That we have some space here. Man, I have a lot of cooking to do today. Okay, this should be enough. So it's up to your own taste, you know. If you let it go a little bit longer, it gets softer, but it looks to me it's just fine. I take my silicone square, because I don't need to oil that thing. If they take a normal glass casserole, you probably have to spray it with some oil. So we put half of that polenta right into the casserole dish. So about half, okay? Keep the other half for the top. Let's see how we are doing. One more. Yeah, that will do. That will do. Spread it out evenly. You don't have to worry. It is not sticking in the silicone dish. It's just doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. We put that on the side. So we have half of the on there. Half of the polenta is on there. And what we are doing now is we are making the content of the loaded. We need a pan. And we have to water saute all our stuff. We heat up the pan on high. And we put in our sausage, which is vegan. You can use what you want, but I used spicy Mexican chipotle sausage, and crumbled and chopped it up. I also use a cup of mushrooms. And a cup of, again, don't put water in right now, we can put a little bit of sauce, and if we have to sauce saute and a cup of southwestern vegetables. You get that at Walmart everywhere. Something with corn in it and beans, you know, some southwestern style vegetables. That's it. Take the bouillon away. We have some space here. This is to garnish. Put a little bit of sauce in there. Give it the right flavor. A little bit of sauce. Not much. Yes. Oh, it smells good. Holy moly, it smells good. Just water the tater. Let's start first before we get the vegetables in. I also should put in, I forgot to mention that, guess what? And the dogs are barking as usual when I make something. So I have some liquid smoke here I put in. This is a new one. You also get it at Walmart, everywhere. I should have prepared that earlier. I'm sorry for that. Put a little spritzer in, not much. But the sausage is good enough. Hey Scruffy and Taco, shut up! Okay, now we put the vegetables in and let that saute until the vegetables are soft. That's our loaded material that goes on top of the polenta. Once you think everything is soft, you take a handful of spinach and put it in and let it cook down. Try to get as many nutrients in the meal as possible. Let it cook down in the spinach wields in a minute, so it's not a big deal and gives you a little more nutrients. Or in that case, it gives it to me. All right, already getting there. Don't let it wilt down too much. I like it like that, and like it is right now. Shut down our sausage. Give it a little taste. It's good. Do I need salt? No, I don't think so. Tiny little bit, maybe. Not much. Because the sausage has a really spicy taste, so see, I put that in. It's just a little pinch. Alright. So now, oops, what did I put on my polenta? Damn. Now we take that and put it on our polenta. All the goodness goes on here. And again, we even everything out. There should be something everywhere, so it's all even. You could put vegan cheese on it if you're a fan of vegan cheese. I am not so much, because most of the vegan cheese is, I showed you the sausage, right? Yeah. Most of the vegan cheese has casein, and casein is the carcinogen I want to avoid, so there's not very often I see vegan cheese I want to use, but you could do it here if you want to. Nutritional yeast could go in there by now. That would be a good addition. And now we put our polenta on top. Try to get everything out, because you want to put it even on it. Okay. Just use my finger. Polenta is good. Ooh, it's very good. That bouillon really does it with the polenta. Oops. So, maybe I should use a fork, huh? Might be better. One here. Yeah. So with a fork it goes better to even it out. Yeah. Getting there. The last little corner here. As I said, this is just for me, that's a couple meals. It's almost 4 meals for me, what I have in there. Or if somebody else wants it, they can have it. They want spaghetti with the tomato sauce, but that's fine. So what we do now is we chop an onion. I have it here. I'm running a little bit out of space, but that's okay. You know what? Let me get that one off here. Do I need that one? No, I don't need that one. Clean it up. I need to salt either. Polenta can go. Okay. So we have a little bit more space here. I don't want to put the silicone mat on the hot oven, so destroy it, you know, so it's okay with the space. You actually only need half an onion, so I'm peeling it right now, and then I cut it, half the onion. Okay, I cut the onion in rings. Really small rings. Okay. We layer it on there. If you don't like onions, just skip that step. Then we put some olives on it. It gives it a Mediterranean feel without the olive oil, which is not whole plant-based olive oil. It's you know, pressed out of olives, so, and not what you should eat on the McDougall diet. So we put a few olives on. And then we take our tomatoes, which we left for the garnish, put them on. And now we put everything in the refrigerator for 1 hour, okay? The basil goes on later. So we put it in the fridge for 1 hour so that the polenta gets really stiff. Okay, so the only step left now is after an hour, I take the polenta out and we'll put them in the oven at 425 and let it brown on top. Silicone is a baking form, we can let it brown, okay? And I get back to you once we do that. So welcome back to our last step for our loaded polenta with tomato sauce made from scratch from my tomatoes in the garden. Let's go down to show you. I took the polenta out of the refrigerator. This is how it looks, and you see the silicone, it's stiffened up, so it's like a cake pie. And what we do now is we put a little bit of nutritional yeast on it. It's kind of like to get the cheesy look, like the Parmesan look. So we put a little bit of nutritional yeast all over the polenta. And it's good for you. And the basil we kept. It's almost looking like a pizza, huh? Okay, now we put the silicone on a cookie sheet and we put it in the oven for about 15 minutes just to heat it up. And let me get you. Just to heat it up and get the onions scorched on top. I would not put it under the broiler with the silicone. My silicone is very high grade, it goes very high, but even that, I don't want to put it under the broiler, so I don't want to destroy it. I put it in the baking at 425, because I know it is at least holding it to 450. You can heat it up, but that one is even higher. But I just don't want to jinx it and get some plastic in my polenta. Anyway, this is the last step, and when it's done, I put the timer on 15 minutes. Keep an eye on it. All I need is a scorched onions a little bit. Other than that, I don't have to, just then it's heated up and we can start eating. Yeah! Ooh, it's getting hot in here. Well, time is over in the oven, so I'm taking it out now. Let me get you down to watch what happens. So I take the whole cookie sheet out, not just the silicone pan, because they are too wobbly to just take it. Oh my god, it looks so good. Look at it. Let me show you from up close. Here, look how nice and brown the topping is. So put that here. I have my plate here. And don't use a knife in the silicone pan, because you don't want to cut through the pan. So let me get one out. The first one is always the hardest one to get out, but it works perfect. Okay. Got a little bit left, so yeah, it should have waited. If you wait 3 minutes, it separates better. I have a little mess here, but it's okay. I don't care. This is the polenta, the loaded polenta, and now we put tomato sauce. I just heated it up a little bit. Look how creamy they got. Do you see it? Oh, you don't see it, huh? Let me. Look how creamy they got. Yeah. So we put a good portion on the loaded polenta, because you want to like cornbread. You want to soak it. By the way, speaking from cornbread, I have vegetarian Jiffy cornbread that works just as well with that. Except of eggs, I use applesauce in the Jiffy cornbread, but that's a whole nother recipe. But that works just like the polenta. Look at this. We put a little bit more basil around. Look at this. Isn't that great? And now I'm trying it for you, okay? Because I can't wait. The tomato sauce from my garden is just very different from canned tomato sauce. It's the acidity, the ripe tomatoes is just amazing. It's good. You gotta try this. You really gotta try this. And it's a little complicated because it's waiting times involved. The recipe itself is easy, so you just need a little patience. And now I'm cutting it short because the video is long enough. As I say in California, peace out.